What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Littleroot Laddering. So today we are playing, I believe this is at Red Silver FR on Twitter. They topped both Bilbao and Lille? Yes, Lille Regionals. With this Kyogre, Zacian, Shedinja team. This team looks super interesting. There's a lot going on, and I love all of it. So, of course, we have your Mystic Water Kyogre here. Just going to be able to dish out a ton of additional damage. We do have Ice Beam, so we can deal with, like, opposing Zapdos and potentially Gastrodon if we truly need to. But, like, those aren't going to be major concerns because we have the rest of the team here to complement it as well. Starting off with, we have our Prankster Thundy, which really fits well on this team because paired next to like Zacian and Kartana, there's a non-zero chance that like our opponent's going to think that this is going to be Defiant, and as a result, you know, like not bring their Intimidators as a way to prevent that from getting a proc. But instead, we're just going to get them with our Prankster ability. Taunt, Eerie Impulse, Thunder Wave, you know, pretty standard Thundy stuff here. We also have Zacian, pretty standard as well. 3 attacks plus Protect. I like this set. This is like one of my preferred Zacian sets, if you want my honest opinion. Just like do a ton of damage, take them out as soon as possible, clean up the rest of the game. We also have Shedinja here. Focus Sash, Endure, Ally Switch. Like, this thing is meant to be an absolute nuisance to your opponent, and depending on like the end game, it can just solo wins. You know, obviously I've done this with opposing Zacians and opposing Kyogres, where Shedinja just cleans up the end game because neither of them are able to hit you. And you know, especially with Sash and Endure, you're able to just stay on the field forever and annoy your opponents. And I like it. I'm excited to see how well this actually plays out in practice. Of course, we also have Kartana here. AV to make sure we live a few extra hits. Setting up the rain with Kyogre means that this thing should be able to live any hit that you throw at it. Off the top of my head, pretty standard Kartana set. Even in Series 12, this is just like the best 4 attacks that you can possibly run on it. I don't know why I got disconnected. This is already starting out to be fantastic. And then to round it out, of course, we have Ensign. Pretty standard Ensign. Nothing overly exciting there, but let's jump into some games and see what we can do today. Reshiram plus Zern. Very interesting. Sableye, Spectrier. Really interesting team. I don't think Shedinja is very good, seeing how they have two fire types, 2 ghost types. Like, they're guaranteed to bring at least 2 things that can damage Shedinja here. This might be a cart game. I think cart looks really good here. I think Ensign's okay. I think Thundy's actually pretty okay too. Go for a taunt into the Zern. I think I like Thundy, I like Kyogre up front with Zacian and Cart in the back. I don't think I want Ensign. I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to try Torkoal things here. Like, Torkoal plus Reshiram is actually a really interesting combination. Just to be able to do that much more damage with your max flares. I like it. I like it quite a bit. So I can see Sableye swapping out into Torkoal and then maxing the Reshiram. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Eerie Impulse the Reshiram here and preserve this and go into, you know, my Steel types in the back. I lied. We're Dynamaxing. Okay, no swap is good. I wonder if they Dynamax the Reshiram here. In my experience playing the Cali Ice Reshiram team, you typically want to Dynamax Reshiram in these matchups against opposing Kyogres to gain control of the weather that way. But the fact that they have Torkoal on their team means that they can control the weather anyway if they really wanted. Obviously, if this is like Assault Vest, they have access to potentially like Solar Beam as well. So they can do like a non-zero amount of damage into our Kyogre. They have Sunny Day on Sableye. I forgot that's something they have access to. This is fine because I'm just going to revert the weather back to how I want it. Sableye may even live this with it being in sun. Oh yeah, by a mile. Perfect. Now the rain's back up. They are at -2. They're going to flare so the sun stays up. Even at -2 in the rain, that does a solid chunk. Oh, they're Life Orb, that's why. I could Thunder Wave, but I think just going for an Eerie Impulse here is better. And then, yeah, we will Geyser the Sableye, try to take it out this turn. Okay, now they're at -4. They're not really going to do much unless they crit. Is this Lagging Tail, or is this Eject button? It is Lagging Tail. Okay. So they're probably going to survive now that I don't have my Mystic Water boost. Yep, that's unfortunate. They're going to Wyrmwind my Thundurus. There's still a solid chunk of damage, even at -4. Can you, like, please stop? They're gonna eat our citrus. I can T-Bolt here to take this out. And I could just Max Guard, but I think doing some amount of damage into Reshiram is probably better this turn. Especially if they do attack, I get to preserve my weather this way. So if they go for like Sunny Day Max Flare into my Thundurus, I get to Geyser their Reshiram and reset the rain. That's interesting. Seeing how I've shown them I'm faster in every situation besides exactly attacking them. Which, this is still fine. Like, Thundurus holds on. They didn't crit, so, like, it's okay. I debated swapping to Zacian there just in case they did try to go for another Wyrmwind, but this is fine. That actually is really good damage. Seeing how they're not Assault Vest, they don't really take hits well. I wonder if they bring in, like, Torkoal here? No, it's gonna be Spectre. They could Snarl us. Like, Snarl spamming would be annoying. So I think what I'm going to do... I think I want to Thunder Wave the Spectre here. And swap Kyogre into Kartana. Double up into the Reshiram next turn may be enough to take it out, especially depending on what they do here. Okay, they're just going to withdraw. They're going to go into Torkoal. Preserving Kyogre was in fact the correct play. Cool. This also resets the Reshiram to go back to neutral as well. We do get the T-Wave off. They just go for a Shadow Ball. Which is enough to take out Thundurus, but that's fine because now I can bring back in Kyogre and take away their weather again. And we know their Life Orb is on Reshiram, meaning this is most likely Focus Sash on the Spectrier. So I can Origin Pulse this turn. We can Smart Strike into the Spectre, try to break its Sash, and then KO them with the Origin Pulse. They do Snarl, they do Connect. This is why we went for Origin Pulse and not Water Spout. Don't miss. Perfect. Okay. So now we have full control of the weather. Spectre goes down. Reshiram comes back in. And Origin Pulse might be enough to just KO the Reshiram. I think I do want to stay in. Sacred Sword's the most damage we can do, so we'll fire that off. If Kartana goes down, I don't care. I have Zacian in the back, which can clean up both of these. Perfect. Gonna drop a Draco, but they miss. Burning Jealousy is going to connect. Not gonna do too much to Kyogre, obviously, and then Kartana is going to hold on. Origin Pulse is going to connect on both, and probably a double KO this turn. Oh! Torkoal! Sneaky! They're going to eat their citrus. Okay. That should be GG. Yeah, sick game. Really cool team from our opponent, too. I like what they have going on here. Sableye, I think, is actually a really underrepresented prankster of Pokemon right now. I think this is a really cool team that our opponent was using today. Number 80. Top 100 opponent here. With Charizard, Groudon, Yveltal, Venusaur, Ensign, and Meowstic. Very interesting. Shedinja looks very bad. Kartana doesn't look great. Thundy looks fantastic. Thundy looks great. Ensign looks good. Obviously, I want Kyogre and Zacian, I think. Kartana doesn't look completely awful, but in the face of Charizard, it does. Oh, yeah, I can't reasonably bring Kartana into a fight with Charizard. I think this is going to be Thundy plus Ensign up front with Zacian and Kyogre in the back. Fire off an Eerie Impulse, fire off a Thunder Wave. Yeah, I think this is pretty okay. Feel alright about this. It's gonna be Ensign plus Venu. Okay. Their Intimidate goes off first. We are going to immediately reveal that we are Prankster. So that's kind of not great. So I think my play here is I want to... This is really bad if they go for a Sleep Powder into this slot. Which I think they're going to. They should Fake Out plus Sleep Powder, I think. I'm going to taunt the Venu just on the off chance that we can do this. And we can Fake out into their Venu as well. I think this is the safest play. Okay, they fake out into Thundy. Nice crit. So who's faster? Thundy is faster. Okay. I have +1 priority on taunt. It was not. Yeah, I'm smart. Then I think I want to parting shot off of their ensign. Just really reduce their damage output here. No sleep powders for you. If earth power, very cool. Not really surprised to see that in all actuality. And we can actually live another one as well. They parting shot into my ensign. This is perfect. Being slower here is actually really good because depending on what they bring in here dictates not only what I get to bring in, but also the fact that I get to like parting shot off of them as well. Meowstic the Scholar. Please be prankster and not competitive. Okay, cool. Cool. So I can go into Zacian here. And I can Eerie Impulse their Venusaur on the off chance that they swap into Groudon and Max. And then I'm going to Behemoth Blade into their Meowstic here. Okay, gonna withdraw the Venu. Should be Ensign coming in. Yep. Okay. Completely fine. Obviously, this T-Wave does nothing. It gives them free information about what's going on here. Or yeah, Eerie Impulse, which now they know about, which can be bad. And they're gonna set up Reflect, but again, this doesn't really matter. This might still just put Meowstic down to Sash. Probably not. No, okay. Really good damage, all things considered. I want to T-Bolt into the Meowstic, and I think I want to swap back into my Ensign here. Because depending on damage output this turn, we might be able to take out the Meowstic. Okay, they're just going to fake out into the Thundy. That's also fine. They also set up Light Screen. Okay. I think just going for T-Bolt. I think I want a parting shot off their Ensign. It's good damage. Is it Dark Pulse? Thundy's not going to take a lot. They're going to go for a Throat Chop. Okay. That's actually really good on their end. Because that means we can't use our parting shot. It also doesn't reveal that it's parting shot. I mean, it should. It should tell them that I can no longer parting shot. So I think my play now, I think I want to swap into Zacian this turn. With Ensign already being on the field, we should be fine to safely make this switch. They could parting shot into my Zacian or my Thundy, both of which would be annoying, but not the end of the world. If we crit into the Meowstic this turn, we're in a good position. They have Yawn. Okay. We get the Para, so that's cool. They do just parting shot, but into my Thundy, which I was already wanting to swap out of anyway. So this is kind of just fine. You bring back in Venu. They're gonna go into Groudon. So I can swap into Ensign. And go for a Behemoth Blade into Groudon here. I don't want to KO the Meowstic because that gives them a free switch back into Venusaur. And I would really prefer Venusaur not be on the field yet. Okay. Ensign's coming back in. I'm back to neutral. They should be light screens on the... I mean, they should be light clay on the Meowstic if they're running screens. That would just make the most sense. I'm gonna go for Dance. Dance of the Swords. We know their Ensign is faster, so I actually think it is correct to manually switch here. I could Dynamax my Ensign. That is not something I had considered. I actually really like this play. And swap Ensign... I mean, swap Zacian into Thundy. I need to deal with their Ensign to be able to cleanly sweep up with Thundy. Venu's coming in. Perfect. Who's ready for Max Ensign today? I have no idea how much a +1 Precipice Blades does, especially since we've already eaten our berry. I have no idea how much this does. Awesome! We put a dent into them. We eat their citrus, that's fine. I don't think Max Ensign was the play, guys. But man, what was the play then? I think a Max Guard. And we can Thunder Wave into the Venusaur here. Okay, no Max coming out from our opponent. Okay, they do just go for the Earth Power. And probably Precipice Blades. No, just Rock Slide. Missed the Thundy. Never lucky. Thundy does go down. How many more turns of... Alright, I think this is actually safe to bring in Kyogre. It's going to remove their weather. Kyogre is also faster than the Groudon, so we should be... They might swap into Ensign this turn to... I think this is actually fine, because what I can do is I can Max Strike into the Groudon slot and just go for a Water Spout. They maxing Groudon? No, they're still maxing Venu. Parrot in the Rain. This should just be a Vine Lash, I would think. Maybe going for Eerie Impulse last turn was the play. Okay, they just protect. How much does this do to Venu? I forgot they're still behind light screens too. And we're gonna get this Max Strike off. So maybe Ensign will be faster than Groudon now. I'm hoping they just take Ensign out, actually. Not really, because... Oh, that's really good. It's a really, really good turn. Okay, Reflect is now over. So now I can Parting Shot off of the Venusaur and go for another Water Spout. Okay, they're going to withdraw. This is going back into Meowstic, which will just let us get a free KO. Okay, so now they're at -1. This game's really interesting too. Because we know they have Groudon and Ensign in the back now. The Reflect is over, Light Screen is over this turn. There's the Vine Lash, presumably into Ogre, who does take that. But this will allow me to preserve Kyogre and intimidate down the Groudon this turn. Just gonna bring in Ensign. Okay. This is also just fine because I can just fire off an Origin Pulse this turn. I could also just double protect. I think that's actually the play. No, I think I need to preserve Kyogre. I think this is correct. This game's really complicated. Max Ensign may not have been the play, but it's the play we went for, and it was fine. So, this is actually bad because this is going to let them win the Weather War. And this should probably just be Quake. Alright, we get the Para. 2 turns of Para on their Dynamax is obviously very, very good for us. Ensign does go down. Yeah, this is actually a bad play. I should have preserved. I think just going for a Origin Pulse that turn was correct. Yeah, I think this is Behemoth Blade, and then Origin Pulse. Okay, they are going to withdraw, go back into Groudon. Makes sense. Getting the Behemoth Blade into that slot is good. But this is an Origin Pulse in the Sun now. So there's a non-zero chance that, like, Ensign survives. And they can get a Parting Shot plus an Intimidate off this turn. We are going to most likely KO the Groudon, barring a miss. We connect on both, that's good. Okay, we do take out the Groudon. This is really bad if they went for Parting Shot. No, they just Flare Blitz. Yep, Zacian should not take that. Not in the Sun. I think the turn I swapped Ensign back in is the turn that's going to cost us this game. They have one more turn of Vine Lash, which I think is enough to KO us. Right? Yep. So even like protecting this turn isn't enough. We'll Ice Beam. I'm pretty sure we're just dead regardless. Regardless of what they do here, I'm pretty sure we're just dead. That was that was a really close game, and like I think I played it okay. I think letting them get the weather back up was the part that cost us the game. Had I just stayed in with Kyogre, I think we were fine. All right, let's see. So we do have Swordfish Mirror here, but they have access to Trick Room and Kartana as well, actually. But we have a Thundurus, and I like Thundy. I think this is actually a really interesting match. So obviously, like, Shedinja is very, very good here. Barring that the end game comes down to, like, one of their restricteds. I think that's really good for us. So the question is like, what do I want to do? Do I want Kartana or do I want Thundy? Obviously I want Zacian and Kyogre, I feel like, here. And I'm leaning towards Cart. I really like Kartana here. I think just trying to get some speed boost early can be really, really beneficial for us. I think this is going to be Kartana plus Kyogre up front with Zacian and Shedinja in the back. If they try to do Tailwind things, that's fine, because I'll just Dynamax and get some Beast Boosts. You know, Beast Boosts are always good. I approve of some good boosts. See what we can do here. Tornadus and Kyogre. Okay. I think I just want to immediately Dynamax here, go for an Airstream into the Tornadus, and I want to swap out into Shedinja here, I think. Just essentially blank their Kyogre for a turn. Keep ours at full health. I will eventually deal with their Kyogre, I think. But, like, right here, turn 1, I just want to try to get some speed boost and deal with their Tornadus. This could be Life Orb Tornadus. It could obviously be Focus Sash. It's just going to be Icy Wind here on turn 1, which I am A-okay with. Kartana gonna get its speed drop, but because of the immediate Airstream here, we're going to just get boosted back. So, pretty okay with everything going on here. It's a bulky Tornadus. Very bulky boy there. Gonna get that speed boost on Shedinja as well, which is obviously very good for us. Question is what do we want to do now? A good Airstream the Tornadus to take it out. And I could Ally Switch, anticipating the Hurricane into Shedinja. But then Cart's taking extra damage. Could also just swap back out into Kyogre here. I think that's fine. Giving up the speed boost on Shedinja is kind of whatever. You're gonna have a Dynamax here. Very cool. Wonder if this is just their Tornadus maxing, which if so, I feel pretty okay about. No, it's just gonna be the big whale. Okay. Okay. Could be Geyser. This could be, yeah, just gonna set Tailwind here. I wonder if they don't have Hurricane on Tornadus then. It's gonna be Hailstorm into Cart. But we live that. Hailstorm to potentially deal with my my Shedinja is really annoying, so I actually need to preserve Kyogre to reset the weather, I think. So this is going to give us a Beast Boost into most likely attack. Yes, okay. Kyogre is still faster than my Kartana as well. There's actually not much I can do about that. at this current juncture. Here comes their Zacian. I don't feel like we're in a very good position here. I do not feel like we're in a very good position. We've seen Ice Beam, we've seen Water Spout from their Kyogre. Maybe they ignore my Kyogre and let me fire off a Water Spout here, as they naturally just go for the... Oh, that's a lot. Should have clicked the Origin Pulse, because now it's not going to do basically anything. Hailstorm should take out my Kartana, which means I don't really have a good switch here, because regardless of how I do this, I'm going to take hail damage with Shedinja now. And I feel like we are dead in the water now. We can bring out Zacian and just protect. Like, I don't have a way of preserving Kyogre to change the weather. I think swapping that turn was the correct play. But then Zacian's coming in and taking a big hit. They have 2 turns of Tailwind left. Maybe the play is just double protect and pray. Just go for the doubles and try to stall out both Hail and Tailwind. Not feeling great. Behemoth Blade into our Zacian, of course. They're just going to go for another Hailstorm. Do Zacian as well. Essentially doing nothing. Okay, so their Dynamax is now over. Kyogre does go down this next turn. And I don't think I want to reset weather. I think... I think getting the protect there is good. If I can fire off an Origin Pulse, I'm going to feel like we're in an okay position. I do get the double with Zacian. That's good. Okay. They do just fire off a Water Spout. Yep. I was really hoping that we could get off something with Kyogre. The fact that they targeted down my Kyogre with Zacian, I should have read into, I think. But their Tailwind is now over. So we had to hope that our Zacian is faster. The problem is I'm losing my Shedinja this turn because of Hail. So I think the play is I'm going to play rough their Kyogre. Oh, this is actually the last turn of Hail. Interesting. And we'll go for a Poltergeist into the Zacian as well. This being the last turn of Hail means that we actually don't take Hail damage this turn, I believe. Maybe it's correct to target down their Zacian instead. Like, Shedinja could win this endgame. Okay, this is fine. Okay, they just double protect. This is also just fine. And the Hail stops, and now... I wonder if Shedinja can just win this endgame. If they have a Mungus as their last Mon, I think we win. I don't think they have... I don't think they have either of their Pokemon that can deal with Shedinja in the back. Let's find out. If Zacian does go down... Water Spout, of course, can't hurt me. So it really just comes down to how much damage can Shedinja do in these last few turns. Okay, that's just a free KO whenever I want it. Because I have Shadow Sneak, so I can just ignore that. Okay. They are just going to bring in Landorus. Okay. If I can take out this Landorus, we win. Which is, like, kind of scary. Oh, we're going to need a crit. We're going to need a crit. Okay. This is awkward. We legitimately might be able to win this. I wonder if their Kyogre doesn't have... I mean, if their Landorus doesn't have Rock Slide. Or Fly. But they're white herbs, so I would imagine they would. This game's weird. I wonder if they protect Kyogre this turn. I think this is the turn we take out Zacian. Just on the off chance that they protect Kyogre, because I need more Poltergeist, I think. Especially with them going to intimidate us again. Good protect. We are going to reveal Shadow Sneak, but that's fine. Because now that they've protected, we can go for another Poltergeist into Kyogre, take it out. I don't know what to think of this game. It's been really wild. I felt like we were really far behind forever, and now suddenly we're still in this. Opponent is obviously trying to just time us out. Surprised they aren't just like cycling out Kyogre to try to preserve it, like to just intimidate us. But like the longer they go, the more likely we are to potentially get a crit. So now we're at -2. That's annoying. Okay, they also have Protect on Landorus. Maybe they don't have something that can damage us. That's the way this is going. I genuinely don't know what their Landorus set is, and this is just bizarre to me. This is our last Poltergeist. So from here we just start Shadow Sneaking. Yeah, they do have fly. If fly is their only damaging move, we win. Hey, we found our crit. Good job, Shedinja. Good job, buddy. This will trigger Sash. This end game has been very weird. You just try to protect all this? No? Okay. You've had Rock Slide and you haven't revealed it until now? Why would you wait that long? Like, if you have Rock Slide, you win. You just bring in Landorus and prevent the whole stalling of the game. You just click Rock Slide. Final thoughts on Shedinja. This seems cool. I definitely really enjoy it. The games where Shedinja's good, it's absurd, like, obviously. But, you know, there was also a couple different games where we just swapped in. Our opponent made a very good read that we were going to swap, and then Shedinja just dies. So it really just comes down to how well your opponent can play around Shedinja is what it feels like. Obviously, there are matchups where it's absolutely insane because your opponent can't touch it, but with every team basically having an Incineroar on it, every team should have basically some answer to it. Kartana felt good at times. I'm not convinced that it's just like the correct grass type on this team. I think that like Rillaboom could also be very useful here, setting terrain, giving you that extra recovery on your Pokemon. And also like pressuring your opponent with like additional fake outs and grassy glides, I think could be really interesting as well. The Kartana just never felt as powerful as I wanted it to be. The games where I brought it, it never felt great. It always just felt like, well, I don't really want to max this because when I do, it's just like they can intimidate cycle it, they can just do things, whereas like Rillaboom's going to be able to just like consistently want to switch in and out. You also have access to U-turns, so like if you do want that extra bulk, you can slap your Assault Vest there as well. I was never really satisfied with Kartana, but that could also just be the way that I played this. Thundurus felt very good. The Prankster Thundurus set here I think is very, very good and something worth playing on other teams as well. I don't think enough people are playing Prankster Thundurus right now. I don't think enough people are playing Thundurus in general right now. I think it has a very good matchup against a lot of very different things, all of which are pretty dominant right now. The biggest problem I've had with this team is if your opponent is able to outpace you speed-wise, you can struggle pretty hard. We ran into a lot of Airstream Elekis today and a lot of Tailwind, and like when those things are prevalent, it's really hard for this team to play to its outs. Airstream is one of the biggest downsides to this team, is you're not able to really utilize you're not able to punish your opponent's speed control anyway. You don't have access to like Electro Web. Obviously you have Thunder Wave and you have Airstream on exactly Kartana, but that's it. That's your forms of speed control. That's it. You know, we had a game where we maxed Ensign and like we went for a max strike just to deal some damage and get a speed drop, and like that was fine, but overall this team really suffers if your opponent is able to outpace you with things like Eliki or Shadow Rider or things that are just able to go faster than you. This team feels like it struggles against a lot. That being said, this team was really fun. I did enjoy it. Kyogre plus Zacian continues to just be very, very good in this format. And like I said, I think the only Pokemon I would swap out would be Kartana for like Rillaboom, and I would like to test that in some capacity as well. But yeah, this team's cool. I would recommend it. I think if you're interested in playing this, one, go ahead and pick it up, but two, be weary of your opponent's forms of speed control. I think that was the biggest thing that I could learn from this team, is being able to play from behind in speed. There was a couple different times where, you know, we had like lagging tail put on us, or iron ball or something like that as another way of like disrupting our speed. And in those situations, I felt fine because it was only affecting one of our Pokemon versus, you know, both of theirs or something like that. I feel like we really want good forms of speed control on this team to make it function well. So like obviously that's like dropping the Shedinja and playing like your Tornadus or your Whimsicott or whatever, and then, you know, just something else. But overall, I would recommend this team. Go play it. It's fun. If you like Shedinja in this format, this is a team for you. It obviously did very well in Lille, I believe, ending up winning it as well. I know it had 3 copies in the top 8, and it had a top cut in Bilbao as well. So obviously this team's good. The players who are playing it are obviously very good, and I would recommend playing it. So that's going to be it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week with some more laddering. Have a good one. Peace.